To President Trump's tireless efforts to secure a lasting peace, I am glad to announce the signing of today's historic economic partnership agreement between the United States and Ukraine, establishing the United States-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund. This partnership allows the United States to invest alongside Ukraine to unlock Ukraine's growth assets, mobilize American talent, capital, and governance standards that will improve Ukraine's investment climate and accelerate Ukraine's economic recovery. The Development Finance Corporation will participate and help to establish this fund in collaboration with the government of Ukraine. Today's agreement signals clearly to Russian leadership that the Trump administration is committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine over the long term. It's time for this cruel and senseless war to end. The killing must stop, and both the United States and the government of Ukraine look forward to quickly operationalizing this historic economic partnership for both the Ukrainian and American people.
This is my video update on this Thursday afternoon, May the 1st, coming to you from Limassol, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. I have got the only tower right here in back of me. Right over there is the icon. Two pretty cool buildings. The only tower has really grown on me. I don't know what it is, but I'm kind of liking this building now. Wasn't so hot on it before, but now I'm kind of digging it. We've got another building, apartment complex right there being built. A lot of construction going on in Limassol. Something is being built over there, down that way. Actually, two apartment complexes are being built down that way. We'll walk by there and check it out. Let's talk about some news. And the big story for today is that the rare earth minerals deal has been signed. Scott Bessent, who is very neocon-ish. He's giving me a lot of neocon vibes. Scott Bessent, he announced that the deal has been signed, and he said that this deal shows that the Trump administration absolutely supports Ukraine's independence and sovereignty. That is what Scott Bessent said when this deal was signed. So we don't have the full details of the deal published. I imagine we're going to get those within the next day or two. Someone like Reuters or Bloomberg will get a copy of the deal and they will publish it. So all we have to go on right now at the moment is what some mainstream media outlets are saying, according to their sources. If you believe that or not, I will tell you what they are reporting about the details of this deal. They have sources who have seen the deal or seen an outline of the signed deal, and so that's what we have to go on. And we also have some information that Ukraine officials have put out there as far as what the deal is about. The minerals deal that was signed by Ukraine and the United States, which is really not much of a minerals deal, and it looks like it's more of an oil, gas, weapons deal, actually. So, at least that's my opinion. But once again, this is going off of what Ukrainian officials are saying and going off of some mainstream media outlets like Financial Times and Politico and what they're reporting, given what their sources have claimed to have seen when it comes to the minerals deal. So things could be very different when the actual deal is published. Or maybe not. Maybe they're not that different. we're going to have to wait a couple of days to get the details of the deal, an accurate picture of the deal. But let's talk about what the media is reporting and what Ukrainian officials are saying about this agreement. And if you go by what they're saying, then it looks like the Trump White House has made many concessions to Ukraine in order to sign this deal. And I'm going to tell you four big concessions that I got distracted by that dude's radio. Anyway, I will tell you four big concessions that the Trump White House has apparently made. The first big concession is that, according to Ukrainian officials, this will not be a deal in perpetuity. It's not going to last forever. It is going to be a 10-year deal, and the United States will have access to Ukraine's resources for a period of 10 years. That's the first big concession. The second big concession is that the resources will be managed by a fund, an investment fund. And in the deal in February, which was published, we know the details of the deal in February, the fund was going to consist of a board that would make the decisions, and that board was going to be 3 Americans and 2 Ukrainians. So effectively, the United States would control the board, which would control the money in the fund, which would decide how to allocate that money, etc. It is now being reported that the fund and the board will be split 50-50. So it will be 3 Ukrainians and 3 Americans, or 2 Ukrainians and 2 Americans, whatever the final number is going to be, but it is going to be 50-50 control of the investment fund. And I want to check out that building. I definitely want to check out that building. And the third big concession is, and I've talked about this in some videos that I made a few days ago, and a couple of videos I made from Bafos, is that there is going to be no back pay. There's no $300 billion that's owed to the United States. There's no $100 billion. It went from $300 billion, it went to $100 billion, and then it went to 0, and it is going to be 0. There is no money owed to the United States. So that's the other big concession. And the final big concession is, and this one's interesting, this one's very important actually, is that the U.S. will contribute to the investment fund with money and weapons. They will put money into the investment fund and weapons. So we're not only looking at Ukraine revenue generated from Ukraine's resources from their oil and gas, but you're also looking at the United States allegedly putting money into the fund, putting its own money into the fund, or giving weapons to Ukraine in exchange for a monetary value. So the U.S. would say, okay, Ukraine, you're putting $100 billion from revenue from the sale of oil. Well, we'll give you 100. Maybe 100 billion is not the right number. Maybe it is. But you're putting in 100 million. Let's say 100 million from selling oil. Well, we'll sell you the equivalent amount in weapons, and that's us matching the revenue from 100 million in oil, for example, something like that. So the weapons could be the U.S.'s monetary contribution to the fund. So that's significant. keep in mind that you're talking about, and I say oil and gas when I talk about revenue, because if this is a 10-year deal, think about this. If this is a 10-year deal, if you're talking about rare earths, it's going to take 15 to 20 years, from what I understand, to actually get some money from the rare earths. And most of the rare earth minerals are in the East anyway. So whatever there is that is in Zelensky's control for the time being, well, it's going to take 15 to 20 years to actually get revenue from the rare earth. And that is if the United States is actually crazy enough to build facilities in Ukraine to process the rare earths. I mean, they're going to build a facility to process the rare earths in a country that is, at the moment, that is at war. It doesn't sound too realistic, but if the US decides to invest in infrastructure and facilities in Ukraine for the rare earths, it's going to take 15 to 20 years to set all of that up. I mean, that's the advantage that China has. It's not that they actually have the rare earths. The US has rare earth. Canada has rare earth. It's that China has the infrastructure for the processing of the rare earths. At least that's my understanding of things. So this is a 10-year deal. We're not really talking about rare earth minerals, are we? It looks like we're talking about oil and gas and ports, Odessa. Perhaps that's what we're talking about. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, the U.S. putting in money, either putting in money or weapons. This is coming from Politico. The U.S. will contribute to the fund through direct payments or through new military assistance, according to the outline, someone who has seen the deal's outline. So that's coming from Politico. So once again, I'm going to say this one last time. Maybe this is the deal. Maybe this is not. We're getting our information right now from Politico, from Financial Times, from Bloomberg, BBC, and from Ukraine officials. That's who we're getting our info on when it comes to this deal. But if the deal is anything like what I've just talked about, then it does look like Trump made many concessions, big concessions. This has no similarity to the deal that was put on the table in February. Very, very different from the deal that was put on the table in February, much more to Ukraine's advantage. This deal right now looks like it's going to be much more in Ukraine's advantage. Eden, BBF Eden, looks pretty cool, I have to admit. This would be a cool place to live, huh? It's probably pretty expensive. Anyway, let's continue. So Lindsey Graham, he came out and he said that he is supporting President Trump in his peace initiatives for Ukraine, and he's supporting the peace initiatives by getting approval of bone-crushing sanctions from Congress. Bone-crushing is what Lindsey Graham said. They're going to crush bones. 500% tariffs on countries buying key Russian exports. Secondary sanctions, 500% secondary sanctions. That's what Lindsey Graham is saying. Congress has approved it. It's ready to go. And Trump just has to give the word. Just give the okay, Trump. And the U.S. is going to put bone-crushing 500% tariffs on countries that purchase Russian oil. At a time when the United States is is in a big tariff war with China. Probably not the best idea, I would I would think, but this is coming from Lindsey Graham. He rarely has good ideas, Lindsey Graham. Anyway, that's what he said. He's supporting Trump by putting in place bone-crushing sanctions. It's just something about Lindsey Graham saying bone-crushing, right? Something just doesn't add up, doesn't fit Lindsey Graham talking about crushing bones. So Kellogg, the Ukraine-Russia envoy that Trump has put all of his trust in, much to Trump's detriment, to his downfall. He put all of his trust in Kellogg, and he has been led astray, wasn't listening to Witkoff, decided to go with Kellogg and his ceasefire freeze plan. Anyway, Kellogg was on Fox News, and I could go this way. And Kellogg, he said that Ukraine is willing to de facto give up land to Russia. Keith Kellogg has said Kiev wants to hold the current front lines. This is very deceptive from Keith Kellogg, very deceptive. He told Fox News, Martha McCallum, that look, it's all Russia's fault. It is all Russia's fault, he said, all Putin's fault, because they will not agree to an unconditional ceasefire. He said, Ukraine has agreed. I've done my job. I got Ukraine to agree to the unconditional ceasefire. He said that Zelensky will even agree to recognize temporarily recognize de facto that Russia controls Ukraine territory, he said, the 4 regions, but not the entirety of the 4 regions like what Putin laid out in his June 2024 terms. No. That's not what Kellogg is talking about. He's saying that Zelensky will recognize, for the moment, he will recognize the territory that Russia currently holds de facto recognition, as long as the conflict freezes along the current front lines and we get an unconditional ceasefire. Basically, Kellogg is, when he's talking about this concession, this concession from Zelensky, which is not a concession, but when Kellogg is talking about this stuff to Fox News, he's basically talking about Russia agreeing to his freeze plan, trying to paint the picture that it's Putin's fault. The fact that we can't get to a peace in Ukraine is Putin's fault. They will not agree to my freeze plan. Ukraine has agreed to it. That's what Kellogg is saying. I got Ukraine to agree to it. So that's Kellogg on Fox News, being very deceptive, very misleading, Keith Kellogg. No one listened to Russia. No one listened to Russia. No one listened to Putin on June 2024 at the Foreign Ministry. No one took Russia's interests into consideration. They just went with Keith Kellogg's ceasefire, unconditional ceasefire, freeze the conflict plan, which Russia said 1,000 times is a non-starter. So that's the interview with Kellogg. Things keep on getting better. Well, they're getting better if you're the Green Goblin. Green Goblin had a pretty good day, it seems, yesterday. Seems like he got most of what he wanted. We're getting reports that the Trump administration is going to send is going to sell, I shouldn't say send, is going to sell 50 million in weapons to Ukraine. You see where all of this is going? You see where all of this is going? I could absolutely see Trump saying, it's Putin's fault. We couldn't get to a deal. Ukraine agreed to the ceasefire. Russia would not agree. But you know what? I'm not going to give weapons to Ukraine like Biden did. I'm going to sell weapons to Ukraine. I'm going to sell the weapons. Well, 50 million, according to the Kiev Post. As peace talks slow, the Trump White House approved its first 50 million arms exports to Ukraine through direct commercial sales to Kiev. On Wednesday, the Trump administration informed Congress of its intention to green light the export of defense-related products to Ukraine through direct commercial sales, DCS, of $50 million or more, Kiev Post has learned from diplomatic sources. The permission, the first of its kind since Trump returned to the White House over 100 days ago, comes just weeks after the administration paused all Ukraine-related military aid for review, emphasizing a new priority, leveraging U.S. influence to end the conflict through diplomacy rather than prolonged military support. So the diplomacy is failing. It was a failed approach by trusting Kellogg, by going with Kellogg, but failing nonetheless. And so it looks like the Trump White House is signaling that they're going to start selling weapons to Ukraine. So they have this, with the minerals deal, they have the investment fund where the U.S. can sell weapons to Ukraine. The value of those weapons goes into the investment fund. They have that. Now they have this direct commercial sales mechanism, which Biden used, but not that much when he was president. I believe he sold $1.6 billion to Ukraine via this DCS mechanism, but I expect the Trump White House, if we are going this route, and I say if we are going this route, because things can change tomorrow. We don't know. But if we are going this route, then I imagine Trump's going to be using this DCS model a whole lot more. And so he'll be selling weapons to Ukraine as well. And I imagine the Europeans will also purchase weapons from the United States. And then they will give the weapons over to Ukraine. So that's the news there. What changed so that we have all of this news of weapon sales to Ukraine, minerals deals signed, the Trump White House making a whole lot of concessions to Zelensky? What changed? Well, according to Axios and The Economist, what changed was that 15-minute, oh, there we are. I was just over there. The 15-minute meeting at the Vatican. That's what changed, according to The Economist and according to Axios. Macron and Zelensky, they were able to convince Trump that it is all Putin's fault, that he has not been able to achieve peace in Ukraine, to get to some sort of a deal. It's all to be blamed on Putin. And Zelensky, and I think Macron, actually I'm positive Macron has a way with Trump. He has a way, even though he wasn't sitting in on that meeting. Something tells me that Macron played his part. They convinced Trump to not abandon Ukraine, to not walk away from Project Ukraine. That is what The Economist is reporting. What chance? A peace deal? Ukraine is cautiously optimistic. And Axios says what Zelensky told Trump at Pope Francis's funeral. Axios said that, and The Economist, they said that Zelensky told Trump, don't walk away. I'm agreeing to an unconditional ceasefire. Putin does not agree to an unconditional ceasefire. I'll sign the minerals deal. Send me weapons. That was what he told Trump And it looks like, if you go off of the reports that we're getting today, it looks like Trump went for it. He decided to go with Zelensky, with Macron, and with Kellogg. Once again, things can change tomorrow. Remember what I said about Trump? It's all about who talks to him last. The last person to talk to Trump is pretty much how he makes decisions. So who knows? Maybe Witkoff can have a sit down with Trump and all of this changes. But we're also going to have to wait for that minerals deal, because that is an agreement that is signed. So we're going to wait for the publication of the minerals deal as well. And then we'll probably get we'll definitely get a very clear picture as to where we're heading when it comes to Project Ukraine. So let's talk about the European Union threatening Serbia. Don't you dare go to the May 9th Victory Day parade. If you go, Vučić, then your entry into the European Union is in doubt. That is what an EU commissioner said to Vučić. Actually, the EU enlargement commissioner met with Vučić, and that's what he told him. If you go to Moscow on May 9th, you might not get into the European Union. Vučić is signaling that he's going to go. He has to go. Vučić has to go. He has to go. No doubt about it. If he doesn't go, it's going to look bad for Vučić. Serbia has to be present at the highest level for the 80th anniversary, because it is an important day, an important day in history for Russia, for Serbia. They absolutely have to be represented. And Vučić, if he backs down, he's going to look very weak. Backing down to Kaja Kallas? Oh, man. That's not going to look good at all. So, look, he has to go. He has to go, and my guess would be that he goes. Let's just say he goes, and he's going to call the EU's bluff. Because the EU, what's the EU all about? The EU is all about expansion. That's what it's all about. It's all about expanding. Serbia, Moldova, Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia, Canada. Canada they're talking about. It's not about Europe, the EU. It's just about expansion. If there's no expansion, there's no reason for the EU to exist. So it's all about expansion. So if I was Vučić, if I was advising Vučić, which I'm not, but if I was, I would say just go, and the EU's bluffing, call their bluff. And if they're not bluffing, dude, you lucked out. You lucked out. You're off of the sinking ship that is called the European Union. So Modi, he has said that he's not going to be able to attend the May 9th Victory Day because of the tensions with Pakistan. He is going to send, I believe he's going to send his defense minister to the event. So Modi is going to be a no-show. Interesting development there. And let's do some clown worlds. Let's do some clown worlds. Let's see here. How am I doing on time? All right. I can do a couple of clown worlds. I'm doing all right on time. How about the UK Times? They reported that Europe would struggle to put 25,000 troops on the ground in Ukraine. Defense chiefs' hopes of a 64,000 strong deterrence force is unlikely to be fulfilled, sources say. 25,000 from 64,000 to 25,000. 25,000. If they're lucky, they'll be able to put together 25,000 to go to Ukraine. Estonia is saying that they'll contribute to the 25,000. That's right, Estonia is going to contribute to the 25,000. Coalition of the unwilling, which they're still talking about. I thought this thing was over. I thought this coalition of the willing thing was over. Man, this is This is like a like a bad virus or something. It just doesn't go away, huh? Doesn't go away, this coalition of the willing talk. Estonia said that they will contribute a company. A company is what they would be able to contribute. A company is what? 100 to 200, 250 soldiers? That's a company? That's a lot for Estonia. I think that's their entire military. Estonia's going to send their entire military. 100 to 200 soldiers. Man. Anyway, that's from the Times. Oh boy, 25,000 troops on the ground in Ukraine. Remember the article that I was talking about yesterday? Alexander Stubb, the president of Finland. The New York Times, they had an article with him where he said, Finnish leader warns the Kremlin, you don't play with President Trump. That's funny. The leader of Finland is warning Moscow, don't mess around with Trump. So brave of Finland. See that guy over there? If you mess around with that guy over there, you're gonna get it. Not me, that guy over there. I'm warning you, don't mess around with that guy over there. That big guy over there. You're gonna get it if you mess around with him. So brave of Alexander Stubb. Maybe he's stunning and brave. Maybe we should say Alexander Stubb. Stunning and brave, Alexander Stubb. I should go here, get a haircut. I need a haircut. Bad. All right. Let's see, one more? Can we do one more? Did you guys catch this is not a clown world, but did you guys catch the Tucker Carlson interview with Megyn Kelly? Tucker Carlson, he was on Megyn Kelly's podcast, and Tucker basically said that he believes, this is what Tucker said, not me. Tucker said that he believes Ukraine was trying to take out Trump, to delete Trump with that guy. What was his name? Forgot that guy's name. What was that guy's name again? At the golf course. Oh man. I forgot his name. Anyway, yeah, because that guy was in Kiev, and he was visiting Kiev and up to all kinds of stuff when he was in Ukraine. And Tucker says, you know what? That's not a coincidence. That's not by chance. He was there doing something, and then he came back and he tried to take out Trump. Anyway, interesting statement from Tucker Carlson. Very interesting statement. And Megyn Kelly appeared to agree with him, which is double interesting. So, one more. We'll do one more, and we'll wrap this video up. Do I have one more? Yeah, we have the new foreign minister of Germany. It looks like it's going to be this guy named Wadful. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Anyway, this guy is just as bad as Annalena 360. He was pranked by Vovan and Lexus, and Vovan and Lexus pretended to be Andrei Yermak. That's good. I like that. They pretended to be Andrei Yermak. It's good. It's a change from Poroshenko and from who else would they pretend to be? Poroshenko and an African, the leader of like the African Union or something like that. That's who they would always pretend to be. Anyway, they prank called the German foreign minister, and man, this guy's insane in the membrane. You thought Annalena was hawkish. This guy's super hawkish. 10 times more hawkish than Annalena 360. So basically, pretending to be Yermak, Vovan and Lexus got this guy, this soon-to-be foreign minister of Germany, to say, and I quote, Russia will always remain an enemy for us. That's what he said. They will always remain an enemy for us. Looks good. Looks good. What else did this guy say? He accused Russia of meddling in the German elections, supporting the AfD. He said that Germany's going to send Taurus missiles, possibly send Taurus missiles. This guy's super hawkish. But he believed he was talking to Yermak. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. I'm going to wrap it up. TheDuran.locals.com. I don't know where I am, by the way. Let's see. I know I'm close to the beach. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and I'm also on X. Give a like to this video. Maybe subscribe to this channel if you want. And I think I will catch everybody. Yes, we are at the beach. I will catch everybody tomorrow. If you want to stick around for a couple of minutes while I walk to the beach, that'll be cool. But the news for now is over. We talked a bit about the news. We saw some real estate. Not a bad walk and talk, I think. Got a volleyball match going on here. I've never been to this beach. Let's see what it's like.